morning. I'm Patty and I work in the clinic. And today I'm reading Crazy Hair Day by Stanley Salzberg. Stanley Birdbaum woke up early. Bald Eagle Elementary School was celebrating Crazy Hair Day, and Stanley couldn't wait. They had celebrated Pajama Day, Twin Day, and 60s Day. Stanley's favorite was Twin Day because he and his best friend Larry Finchfeather had worn exactly the same thing. Stanley was ready. He had his rubber bands, he had his styling gel, and to make his hair perfect, Stanley had 2 cans of Halloween spray. Stanley's mother knew just what to do. She wrapped and she dipped, and to make his hair perfect, she sprayed Stanley's hair with the hairspray, bright orange and blue. "Ta-da!" said Stanley. "I am a work of art. You are going to be late if you don't hurry," said his mother. Stanley rolled his rubber bands in his hair and he gently tapped the top of his spikes. And he said, "This is going to be a day I will never forget. I bet Larry Finchfeather and I have the craziest hair in the whole school," Stanley thought. As he walked toward the classroom, he heard his teacher talking. "And remember," Mr. Winger said, "Crazy Hair Day is next Friday." Everyone stopped and stared, and Stanley felt sick. Larry Finchfeather said, "Is that a hairdo or a hair don't?" Everybody laughed, and Stanley ran to the bathroom. A few minutes later, Stanley heard someone come in. "It's me, Larry Finchfeather." "Larry Finchfeather, who just made fun of me in front of the whole class?" asked Stanley. "I was only teasing." "Some days you tease me too much," said Stanley. "Mr. Winger said he wants me to try to be a peacemaker instead of a troublemaker. I'm supposed to bring you back to class." "Well, I'm not going," said Stanley. "Well, if you stay in here, you'll miss being in the class picture," said Larry. "I thought that was next Friday," said Stanley. "Crazy Hair is next Friday. Today is School Picture Day." Stanley rolled the rubber bands in his hair and he gently tapped the top of his spikes. "Well, this," he said, "is going to be a day I will never forget." Larry Finchfeather suggested that Stanley try washing his hair in the sink. "Well, it won't help," said Stanley. "Halloween hair color lasts for days." "Well, it really doesn't matter. It's only your hair," Larry told him. "If you don't come out of here by the time math is over, I'm coming to get you. You can't stay in here all day." It was very quiet after Larry Finchfeather left, and Stanley wondered if maybe he could spend the day in the bathroom. So, he ate his lunch, and he drew some pictures, too. He even timed himself to see how fast he could flush all the toilets. 32.5 seconds. A new world record by me, Stanley Birdbaum. Stanley had counted up to 121, 122, and 123 drops of water from the leaky faucet when Larry Finchfeather came back. "Beep, time's up, let's go," Larry announced. "Picture time." "If I'm in it, I'll look like a class weirdo," said Stanley. "Remember 60s Day when Mr. Winger had the flu, but he came anyway. He said the day wouldn't be the same if we weren't all together. You have to come. I'll give you 5 minutes. Larry Finchfeather left, and Stanley Bird Bomb thought about 60s Day, when Mr. Winger had taught them all those great songs. He remembered how on Pajama Day everyone in his class had worn PJs and slippers. Then Stanley imagined, what his class picture would look like without him. He decided to go back to class. To keep from being nervous, he made up a song. Crazy hair, how I wish it wasn't there. Stanley felt someone touch his shoulder. I was just coming to get you, said Larry Finchfeather. What if they laugh at me again, said Stanley. Everything'll be fine, I promise. Stanley stood in front of his class. Everyone stopped and everyone stared. Stanley rolled the rubber bands in his hair and he gently tapped the top of his spikes. This, he said, is going to be a day I will never forget.